And live we are. Oh yeah, that's the stream thumbnail for today. But I need the actual live stream. That's me. It's upcoming today. But yeah, no, it's here. General. Aha. All right. Video announcements. Okay, is it doing the thing where it's just slow again? Where it's just like, is it gonna? Oh, there it is. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So it seems to be consistent. It's just a bit slow to but like not like that slow. It's like a few seconds out, but whatever. Um, Streaming time it now is. Oh wait, you know what? You know what? It's doing the thing again. It didn't pull out the chat, but I've learned from last time. Okay, well this is this is a different problem. That is a different problem. Is that yeah? Live chat. Thank you very much. Fuck you, OBS. Why is I'm still annoyed that this is the default option. Some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. Bro, it didn't show me fucking any of the chat for like the ending half of last stream. Just because I had it on top because it automatically had it on top chat. That is annoying. Anyway, hopefully I've actually like fixed the Wi-Fi for this. So I'm still kind of running on slightly shitty Wi-Fi. It's definitely a lot better than it used to be. But why am I still seeing mid things up on the stream there? I can see the kilobits per second went down, but now it's back up. Question mark? I I don't know. I'm gonna hope that it's gonna continue to be fine throughout this. So anyway, um, some goals for today. Yo, the guy's back. We're gonna be making some items for today. That's kind of the main thing. We obviously still have a bunch of things that I could dive into if I feel like it, if I have the time. I was thinking maybe I could model a new weapon for the explosive things that we made last, I guess, live stream. But for now, I want to focus on making some kind of item. Now, I tentatively did make something before for this. However, it's been a while, and I don't exactly remember what. I'm just going to cover what I changed between last stream and this one. So, like, I added some sound effects to the explosions. I tweaked the rocket jumping a little bit just to be a little bit better feeling. I don't know exactly, like, how I can best show this off. You can still go extremely fast if you can do this right. I'm not the best at this. Yeah, no, that was not at all fast. Explosions look so clear. Oh my god, I like it. Explosions. Kaboom. I was like, kaboom boom. Yeah, I've been working on some of this. I haven't tweaked too much of the visual. I did make it so that they actually scaled properly, so I can change the scale of the explosion without it, like, breaking, so that was cool. Yeah, I don't know. Not too much has changed other than just, like, some subtle stuff, like adding some screen shake when you get knocked back by these. I did discover an interesting bug. Let's see if I can, I guess, let's see if I can recreate it here. Give me this. So basically, last stream, I figured out that sometimes it wasn't colliding with this properly if you got too close, right? So I fixed that. Let me see if I can do this. There it is. If you look at the right angle, it's able to still do it, which is kind of annoying. And I know what's happening here. So it's spawning them inside the wall, but it's supposed to back them up by a fixed amount. But that's still spawning them inside the wall because the angle is too shallow. And I don't exactly know how I can fix that. So currently it's staying like this. It's not that big of a problem for now. I will fix that eventually. Probably using just like an offset by the wall normal. But yeah, it's not great. I don't like that I found that, but it is something that I will have to fix eventually. I sometimes just spawn in enemies and then pick up a weapon and start shooting them because I just find it like really, really satisfying to do. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, today's goal is to do items. Now, why do I say I tentatively have done it? So you can see I have this test count of 44. Frankly, I kind of forget where I even put that. basically I have like an item system somewhat before. So let me just like find this. So it's gonna be probably in player. Well, not the item system, but like where I'm giving myself the item here. Oh yeah. Hyper zoomed in from when I was looking at the goals earlier. One more out. I don't care this one. So somewhere in the real awake, I imagine is where it would be. Just anything in here, that would be it. This is like on hit stuff. Horror teams with player casting, destroy. No. A Spunkiest. I wonder if you can see chat now. I can. Dude, I have it set to live chat. I had to change it manually. I really hope I don't have to do that every time. That would kind of suck. I don't know why it just like doesn't do that automatically normally. I don't know. Okay, this thing. So I'm just kind of I have an abstract container, looks like, called items. Yeah, it's just a jizz container with items. This is a thing that I've made previously. It doesn't do anything. Console.log, save the contents to a string. That's all it does. It just adds it to a list of things that I have. The current deal is creating some kind of your video on Godot inspired me to finally start learning Godot. I have a video on Godot. Do I? This is all Unity. This is Unity. That's Unreal. I did try Unreal that one time. This is Unity. If I go to the video, that's Unity. Like this is Unity. This is Unity. These are in Unity. These are Unity. Where? Godot? Big brain. I don't care. I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, I don't care. It's just kind of funny. Godot is a good engine right now. Yeah, I think it's pretty alright. I personally prefer Unity. I don't think they're really that different, at least from what I've seen. I'm just not a big fan of GDScript, so I've just stuck with Unity. That's just kind of how it is. I know you can use C# for G. You did make me stop learning Unreal. Your vid did make me stop learning Unreal. What? The stream where I was struggling to figure out how to use it? That isn't really... I wouldn't really consider that a conducive test of figuring out if Unreal is good or not. This one live stream I did, I was basically just opened it for the first time because I wanted to see like what it would be like for someone who's at the time exclusively only used Unity. And I just wanted to see like what it would be like. It was not good. It was just me testing it out to see if I even could do anything without having none. Nope, the one where you couldn't get good FPS. Huh? What? What? What is it? What is this guy talking about? The one where I couldn't get good FPS. Hold on. Is he not talking about a live stream? None of these videos are about Unreal either. What is this guy talking about? I don't know. I'm not gonna be... I'm getting a bit distracted here. So, the item here doesn't actually have any functionality other than telling the game that it currently, like, exists. So, I need some way of... I don't know, I have an items container attached to the player, which just has every item that you have. So I need to... Can I get, like, a... So like when this is just has like a lot of various functionality. Some of this is pretty outdated from it's because it's from an older version. Um, where you spawned a bunch of entities and it would not work. I I'm at a loss. Is he talking about an actual video or a live stream? Because like let me no, don't dock that over there. I docked it onto OBS. I just want it to be over there. Okay. Like when this guy says I spawned a bunch of entities and it would not work. I I have genuinely no idea what you're talking about. Like I can do this. I could say to spawn like a quintillion enemies and it'll fucking crash the game. But it definitely works. It just has like 1 FPS because I just spawned about 1,000. Oh, now we're good. You can see them all converging onto where I used to be, you know. It'll be laggy a little bit. There's a few enemies that are a bit broken right now from being like shoved into extreme places, but you know, that it works. Um I swear you tried doing that in Unreal and it was really laggy. No. I have no idea what you were talking about. I don't know why you're saying to optimize that. I'm not ever gonna spawn 1,000 enemies. Now, an actual thing could be like 50, you know. Now, the nav mesh for this is not great. I do want to currently they're updating their position where they're looking like every frame, removing the loading of enemies that are far away from the player. I I technically, yeah, I can do that. I just don't see a reason to. So like the main FPS detriment right now is the nav mesh itself, because they're currently, you can see them jittering because of this. They're currently updating where they're looking to find or they're currently updating where they're going at every possible opportunity, which I don't need and is frankly just extremely wasteful, but I haven't bothered fixing that yet. It is something I'm going to do. There is some stuff to do with checking like sight lines because they need to check if they can actually like shoot you. But for now, it's fine. I really do not need to worry about optimizing that at its current state. The real thing that I want to do with this stream is actually get the weapons done instead of just like randomly yapping for like 13 minutes or what I've done so far. But it's part of a question of how do I get what items actually do? W stream. Just me yapping for like 15 minutes at the start. Yeah, that happens. So whenever I add an item to this container, it's not actually like it's just in here now. It's just in there. I can run a contains operation. I should be able to have contains. Contains. No? Did I not? Is this version of it not have it? All right. I may swap this out with a later version of it. I don't know. I don't think it'll matter though. The real thing is just that as of current, the items just kind of get added and I think they get loaded. Hold on. Unless I'm misremembering this, I think I made it so that multiplayer stuff works with this. So you can see it says index test count 34, right? So if I save and I build and run, this will take a few seconds because I gotta like build this out to an exe file, so that I can then open it twice. I can close this. I don't need to have the goals open. I can probably close some of these random things that I was opening from when I was setting up the stream, like my downloads folder. Guys, you can see the thumbnail for the stream. That's crazy. How long is this build process gonna take? Not that long. It should be almost done. Opening Unity on the other thing as well. Okay, same kind of deal. We've done this before. Just like on the other monitor here, I'm going to run a host copy, and then on this one I can join it. This should just right now we're in a multiplayer thing. So if I go over and look at the chat here, you can see the index is this. No, Unity, stop. I just dragged the window. That wasn't Unity's fault, that's Windows. Anyway, you can see if I look in here, you can see that it says 7F28, right? 7F28 is the ID listed here. And also it has some relay stuff that it's doing, but you can see it basically gives itself 70 of these test items, and in here it loads that it has 70 of those test items. So it is syncing the items across multiplayer. The problem is making them do stuff, which is a question of how I want to actually implement that. I would also like to see the multiplayer integration. How are they being assigned via that? I may have to rewrite it. Somewhere, there's a lot of scripts in here. There is quite a few. I'm gonna navigate through this instead. Multiplayer, it should be in this one. This has a bunch of networking code. I haven't really showed off too much networking code on stream because it's kind of rough. But this thing. So it goes to the thing, send inventory specific. Yeah, get component, items, load contents from string, data. Log backlog of the items, assigned. Yeah, okay. I think for more detailed multiplayer integration stuff, I'd want to look at this on my own just so I can work through it step by step. But it is running like load contents from string to get them back, I believe, every time. Because when it runs this, send in all, this is just yeah. This sends it out to everyone. This sends it to someone specific. Regardless, it's running load contents from string. So in other words, it's serializing the items. The item, I can find a slot, and then the slot has the item in it. This thing. It's basically serializing this into a string and then sending that over. So this can have components as part of it. I probably don't need components on these items considering what they are. So I might remove that if I decide I think that's a good idea. I need to basically create some way of attaching the items to what you have. So I'm going to create that as probably a method on the player. So like, just going to put it like over here or something. Public void attach items. So I have something called items, right? And I can like dot slots, right? So I can basically just get every single item that you currently have. So now what I need to do is probably on the jizz item itself, create some kind of like function. I'm trying to think of how I want to code that. Somewhere in the code base, the items need to have some kind of data that tells them what they can or cannot append to. Maybe instead of having a component aspect, I create a thing? I'm not sure how I'll go about this in specific, but we can create some placeholder stuff for now. So let's say for each item that you actually have in items.slots. So basically everything that you have, or this will technically be a slot, not the item itself, because and then the slot has the item. I can get I'll be able to get the slot.held item for like the amount that it has. So that's the amount. This is the item itself. These are the variables that we can work with. The question is it's the connection of the effect to the item data. How do I want to structure this? I could use like inheritance and have these items basically inherit from what a thing. I could give them a component. I could say that they have a component that's passed along and it should be serialized via the string. String serialization. Where is it? Yeah, this component thing, it compares using the components. Honestly, I could just strip out that part of it and use that for the functionality if I wanted. I'm debating it. It's really just I need to figure out how to get esoteric, unique, whatever pieces of code from a generic item type to the player itself. Because it's easy enough if I just want to say like I can just be like switch fucking slot dot held item dot name case test. Actually, I won't do test because test is already being used by a different aspect of things. Do I actually have a different defined thing in here? Probably not. No, I just have this. Gonna do the same deal, but I'm gonna call it speed. You know, display name will be a speed item. I don't know why I'm calling it speed. I'm thinking of making this just modify the attack speed so that it's easy. It's very easy to see. Right. So I can do this. Then just when you attach the items, I will do something. I should probably make a method to give you items so you can. Okay, I'll do that later. The attach items itself. I mean, yeah, I just get the both weapons, right? And I attach it to that. So var, like this is what I mean when I say that I don't like I'm having a bit of, why do I keep typing var? What am I doing? Var w in my weapons. W dot so this should be the attack time dot, can I get the actions dynamic or compile? You see, this has like multiple different layers to this. You have the base value, which can get compiled into this, which then gets dynamic. Okay, so this is a compiled action. Do I need to provide anything for this? Like, it is an aux layered event with the modifiable value reference. So the answer is no, I don't have to change that, right? Dot append. So I'm just gonna give this a thing. Can I? There we go. X dot value. What is it? Processed value? Because processed will be after base. No? Why not? Sorry, does this not return? Do I just need to set? Is it a it's not a func. It's an action. That makes sense. Yeah. So instead of saying that I just multiply it by 2, I do multiply equals 2. Yeah. I mean, that would do it. That should just multiply your attack speed by 2. Actually, hold on. W dot attack time dot compile. Okay, that should do it. That should basically just say that it multiplies the value by 2. Actually, I'll want to give it a name so that it actually can know that it's doing this. All of these should have a... So it doesn't stack on itself. There we go. That's... Yeah, that seems good to me. I basically just give it a function called speed, and it does this, which just multiplies its value by 2, in other words, the attack time. But that would make it attack slower, so this will make it attack faster, right? Anyway. Yeah. Then that saves the thing. I can run compile whenever you switch to the weapon, or whenever you pick up a new item. Or just whenever. You know what? I'll keep it as this for now. Wait, I actually have an inbuilt compile method, don't I? Compile stats. Yeah. Because that has the compile true stats, which runs these plus the other one. So actually I should run that, not the other one. You see, this is what, okay. This is like what I mean though. I can just do this at the end. W dot compile true stats. So this should actually, okay. Slight refactoring, this will make it easier later. I don't have to manually run compile on every single item thing now. It'll just do it at the end for any relevant stats. There we go. Anyway. Yeah, let me just quickly write a, like, debug thing. So let's go over to where it'd be in main. I've just been throwing, I think, all of the console commands for this game just in here. Yeah. Recam, spawn, just all these things. All these crazy things. Yeah, just gonna add a new one. This is going to be called give. And the action, yeah, but I'm going to do dot parent language lang index. This has like various overloads for expected thing. So I'm going to do dot what? Append new aux command. Don't worry about what I'm doing right now. Expected input type string. And then this I can run on this again and do expected input type long. And then this takes one open. And I put it on you. And then I can now grab these data. So I can say player.instance. Okay, so this is what I meant when I say I don't have like an exact give item method. I just have I'm just currently directly giving it to the abstract add container. So I'll probably want to do that in some way. Public void get item. Jizz item. Right, so currently, instead of just setting test, instead of doing this, where I'm just doing that for some reason, let's get rid of that. Abstract add shouldn't need to do any of these. And then give item, or I guess get item. Same kind of deal here, but instead I don't need to define a new one. I don't need to do this. I just directly add it, and then I run this part, attach items. Technically, it would be more efficient to not need to recalculate all of the items every time you get a new one, but like, fine for now, because I'm just doing get item. Probably should rename this to give item. That just seems more intuitive than get in this case. Oh, you're not letting me do that because okay. That's kind of stupid. Give item. Just defining a new one. This will be speed, and we'll get. I think there's an overload for the amount. No. Do I really not have an overload that lets you set the amount? Well, it already defaults to 1. Given that it has a base type. That seems like a bit of an oversight. I may change that later. Whatever the case. Yeah. Let's see. Actually, well, hold on. Instead of saying that and that, let's do var item equals. So this will let me give myself any item is the idea. Item dot amount equals int dot parse, and then I'll just do item. Okay, so in these two values, we now have x dot concaps 1. Why is this not hello? Why is this not highlighting correctly? Cannot convert from int to int reactable. Dot set value. Sure. Am I going insane? Why is the syntax highlighting broken here? Okay, now it's like Anyway, so that should let me just define any item that I get. And also, unless I'm mistaken, it should just kind of work with the console question mark. So let's see. So when I grab so if I do help give the command we just made, you can see that it requires like a string and a number. So I can give myself a speed of 1. So new items are not going to get it. Existing items do. Yeah. I don't think it's running per stack, per se. So if I give myself 10, shouldn't be any different. I gotta make... So... I've gotta basically say, whenever you pick up an item, it also attaches the weapon. It has to, like, attach to that in some way. So maybe I have, instead of having attach items to all weapons, I attach items to a specific weapon. Weapon W, right? So instead, I can do this and this. So attach items to weapon is basically what's happening here. And so whenever you get an item, I can then say fucking for each RW in my weapons, attach item to weapon, W, boom, okay. Attach items to weapon. Whee! Almost there, almost there. First thing, sorry, last thing I'm gonna do is just when you get a weapon, which, do I have a function for that? I may or may not. It probably is in the, get thing itself, so let's find that in the item pickup. So in here, I have some code which gives you the gun when you get the when you actually pick them up, right? So you can see acquire weapon. So I do have a method for this, which has a weapon A. Literally, I'm just going to attach to A. True initializer just before it loads that. It should be good. Saves. I mean, before it does that. Finally, now when I give myself an item, it should stay. Allegedly. So if I give myself one and then pick up this, yeah, you can see they attack way faster. So now what I can do is we can start messing with this, you know? We can start changing some cool values. So if I instead of dividing it by 2, I say divide by equals 2. Instead of doing this, if I do a.process value divide by equals of let's say slot.held_item.amount, you know? Now, it divides your attack speed by the amount of them that you have. So if you have 1, it divides it by 1. So that won't do anything. Right? So if you give yourself 1, should be the same still. But if you give yourself another one, it should be a little bit faster. If you give yourself another one, it should be a little bit faster, you know? You know, that's kind of funny. You know, it just shoots a little bit. Holy shit, hold on. Hold on. Is this will be upgradable? I'm not I don't know what you mean by that. This is kind of nuts. Just messing with like an insane attack speed on these things. But yeah, so you can see that like I just need to append it to this and compile the stats, and they'll change as needed. I can also append any other kind of functions or anything that I want, like, to the item itself. The question is, how do I want to get this logic per weapon, or per item, I mean. Currently, doing a hard-coded switch statement seems not great. One player can increase the speed of shooting. Forgot how it called. I'm still not sure what you're talking about. You can increase the speed of shooting with items that you find. It's a roguelike. Anyway, it's like Soldier's Syringe from Risk of Rain 2, you know? The Soldier's how the fuck do you spell syringe? This is syringe, Risk of Rain 2. Yeah, this increases attack speed by 15%, plus 15% per stack. I'm very heavily inspired by this game. If you could not tell by the fact that I used a Risk of Rain 2 item on the cover art of the stream, for the Bustling Fungus. So, I don't like particularly that the that this happens, you know? I don't like that this is a risk it. You take that back. You, this is I think this is my probably my favorite game of all time on Steam. You know, favorite game on you go over to Discord. Hold on, profile favorite game right there. You know, just like it's a pretty good game, one might say, or I might say, you know. I've played it a little bit. I've got all the achievements for this. My it's a cool game. Can I go to the actual game itself, not the like community page for it? I think I left a review for it at one point. We are so back. Mm-hmm. Like I've got all of the. It's a good game, you know. So like this feels like a personal attack on me. I don't know. Anyway, so the items themselves, I don't actually have a. I still don't like this. I'm just this feels like a cheap solution, and I don't know if I really can do anything else. Well, obviously I can, but would it be efficient to try and make a whole like inheritance structure with overriding and method inheritance just to make it so I don't have to use this hard-coded switch statement? Maybe. This still feels icky. This, but is it worth trying to create a workaround so that I don't have to do it? Because basically, I just need to have different code that runs depending on what the item is. If the item is the speed item, it changes your attack speed. If it's like an explosive item that makes your bullets explode, I need to do something else, you know? So somewhere along this line of a thing, I need to do something. So compile true stats runs compile stats, which is overriding some other thing. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me go to weapon. So you can see that this will be give me inherits by projectile variant. So this has a projectile name component, which is unique to projectile weapons. So I can't really modify that all that easily. Same with projectiles per shot because it's running. Actually, wait. This is running set base stats, not compile stats. Hold on. Hold on. Compile stats, all that does is compile them. Oh, okay, we're fine. We're fine. I thought this was doing something else. This is not doing something else. Wait, shouldn't this be a modifiable value of a string? Then? Assuming, I'm actually not sure if I want to have projectiles be able to be hot swappable like that. We'll say the projectile is hard-coded for right now. It should just be as simple as changing the data type if I ever want to, so, whatever. The problem still stands. Do I want to leave the player's weapon, or like the player items as this? This is like where I tell the game what the items actually do and how they function. Maybe. Let's see about adding some other kind of potential functionality for an item. So let's say I want to make an item. Let's make a kill item. My goal with this is to do on kill. Hello world. Okay, so my goal here is to see how difficult is this to make for an item. Because this is like probably going to be a good amount of things, is like on some kind of event that I proc, I want to do something. So obviously the items have these. So the item, basically I need to create a Discord bot after finishing course and learning async. Oh wait, oh yeah, I did see that message before. Yeah. So this has to do partly with kill credit, right? Um, So maybe on hit would be a simpler thing to do first, because I need to instead of just modifying the value of a weapon, I need to modify what the projectiles of the weapon do. So in other words, the weapon dot has a thing that gets the damage profile, right? It has this kind of deal, but it doesn't have a thing which gets any modified functions for it. Does damage profile have an on kill? It is a calc event for the case that you do something, but so this is for calculating the damage amount, but does not proc when you get a kill per se. It procs during this invocation right here, during 500. So if I want to add some little functionality to this, the on-hit event, I'd love to use the enemy's hit and heal and attack. Like, I'd love to use these events on the enemy. But can I do that dynamically? Is kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now. So basically the, yeah, you're given access to the weapon, and the weapon has a damage profile, and the damage profile gets applied to the enemy. So perhaps in the damage profile, I can give it a set of events. Like maybe the damage profile gains a list of on kill, on hit event actions, which it then appends to the enemy. This is interesting. This is something I've never really had to deal with before, which is the proccing coming from the damage profile rather than the enemy itself. This is a new stress type on my system here, which is good. This is good. Okay. I'm not a... Alright. So let's say I create a different kind of event here. So this will be the... After the calc event, we'll do the on-hit event. And also the on-kill event. Same kind of deal with these. Except instead of proccing by entity, it's proccing by the profile. Maybe, but calc event runs when you hit. So I don't actually need an on-hit event, because I can just use this event. So it's just this that I need, right? I just need some kind of callback to indicate a successful kill, I think. So, do I even need a reference? I don't need a reference to the, to this, do I? You know? Maybe? Like, I don't need a... It just runs the on-kill event with the entity that you killed. This checks out. Okay, so let's just say on the hit. So when you run kill, just real quick, I'm gonna also do hit dot on kill event dot invoke of this. So every damage profile now also comes with an on kill event. So I'll make a different thing as well for hit so that I can test this out as well. On hit, print hello, on kill, say world. There you go. Wait. Hit. Kill. There you go. So for this, I need to basically create some defined modification of what the weapon has. So the damage profile that the weapon has the capability to have the events, but it itself does not have the events. So I need to get them from somewhere. Gimme. Shimmy, shimmy, so like where is the fucking weapon itself? Not the weapon data. The damage profile. So you can see that it creates a new one from this. I need it in here somewhere in this kind of logic, give it the data that it needs. So do I create like a list of functions that it then appends afterward? Do I create an aux event that it overwrites? That's not a bad idea. I like that. Okay. So public aux event. I'm going to need the same data types as these. So it creates these, and then I'm going to say pp dot on kill event equals on kill event, and pp dot calc event equals calc event. Right. So it's just I'm just overwriting what they had before, or I'm just overwriting it with this, so I can now access it here. So I can say w dot on kill event dot append. So if you get a kill with the weapon, I can append a new thing which takes in this, and it just says hello. And then I can do the same thing, although instead of this is a calc event, and I should rename this to probably on hit event. So let's go back to the player real quick. So on hit event runs hello, on kill event runs world. Let's try this. This logic seems to work to me. It may or may not, genuinely. There is some slight leaps that I'm taking here. Is this music too loud? I don't know. I'm just kind of putting it at an arbitrary volume and seeing if it's good. So spawn 1, nothing should happen. Yeah, we're good. Oh, yeah, this print is still going. I didn't realize that I had that in the code base still. Let me just delete that. That was while I was testing out, and that's when I was fixing the sword bug before. When I was fixing when the enemy just like wasn't at the right place. So you're like, the volume's good. All right, that's cool. That's cool. So we're going to give myself what? Let's get a slash give hit 1. Oh, hold on. Let me define these as actual things real quick. This will be hit, and this will be kill. This is just like some data about them, like if I have like a specific type that I want to give them, or a description, or something like that. That'll be useful for later in development. For now, I don't need to mess with those. I just need to actually define them as existing. So I can give myself 1 hit item, and I can give myself kill. Forgot about that. But I have a kill and hit item. Pick up a gun. So let's spawn an enemy. Let's spawn an enemy. You know, I'm gonna be honest. That didn't work. So somewhere in this line of logic, it's not being called, which is evident. Why though? My guess. You know what? We can let's just start stepping through it. Debug.log. Oh wait. It did print it. It did. We're good. I just sorry. I didn't do dlog. I did log. So it prints it in here. Or I'm smart. So it did actually work this whole time. So you can see if I hello 1 2 3. There should be 4 hellos and a world at the bottom. Can I? Why is it? Oh yeah, because it's not meant to do this. 4 hellos and a world. Yep. Okay, so it's actually working. Good. I just had to do a little bit of finagling with the previous thing. But now I can basically just do like if I really wanted to, I could do on hit, right? I could do on hit, and then this takes in the damage profile. So that doesn't actually give it the enemy that you hit, which is interesting. Do I want to change that? Because calc event is currently running on hit event. However, it's not being given any extra data, like, for example, who you hit. It's just calculating some value. So maybe I pass in not just the hit event, but a entity OXS. So I can no longer directly assign it. Calc event. So this just runs that, and then on hit event, damage profile, which will run the entity OXS that you hit. So I can now get that. Can we go over there? Yada yada. Bada bada. Oh, sorry. Hit dot on hit event dot invoke. And then that'll be hit, and it'll run this. So I now know which one you actually attacked. So now, that should not be working. Did I not save something somewhere? Oh, yeah, your hit event. PP dot on hit event. I need to copy this. Go over to the weapon, paste that over there. Da 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 equals PP dot on event. Wait, sorry. There. Okay. Now this should be throwing an error. Yeah, good. But now I now basically have access to which enemy you attacked. So I can then say, instead of logging the enemy that you hit, let's say I take the y dot self dot transform dot position is going to equal y dot self dot transform dot position plus vector 3 dot. Actually, this is a problem with the nav mesh. I can't really do that. I was gonna say I could just move it upwards, but it'll just teleport itself back down in the next like update frame. I mean, if I just wanted to do the same thing, I could do y dot self dot game object dot name dot log. So instead of printing hello, it should print the name of the thing that I hit. In other words, it should be like the enemy clone. I forget the actual name of the object, but that's what it should print. So I now can get data about the enemy that I just fucking blew up, or that I am in the process of hitting. So this should, in theory, give me everything I need to know. I did not give myself the thing. Now let's try. Yep. Enemy basic bitch, clone. Yeah, so I now can basically just do whatever I want. At least like I can change the stats and I can give them on hit, on kill, and on calc events, which is really cool. Genuinely, I don't know if there's much else I need to do for these. I guess it would be cool to make sure they work over multiplayer, because currently compiled true stats of the weapons, when you do that, is not happening. So if I go back over to what? This is already being ran when you get the item. This is, sorry, when you switch the weapon. So long as switch weapon is fine. No, I want to run it explicitly. So for everything in, yeah. So I'll run this, I'll run p dot attach. You know what, I'm making this its own thing. Public void attach items to all weapons. Just literally just does this. So I don't have to keep writing the same fucking for loop over and over again, you know? Attach items to all weapons, just to make sure that it has these logged, and then also in this same kind of deal here, where I'm gonna grab var pp equals this. This could already be used. It'd be really funny if I already used it. It doesn't look here to attach items to all weapons, right? So it loads the items and attaches them. This should mean that if I have another player and they have an item, it should be good. Now, what I'm kind of worried about is giving an item to the player, because currently it's not sending the new item that you have to the player, to the other players. It's just saying locally that you have them. So do I need to run send inventory all? Or send inventory specific, I should say. Because this runs send inventory all, send request inventory. Where does this call to the player? Oh, sorry. Where is this called? It's not. That's helpful. Did I delete a line of code that had that? Is what I want to know. In the player. No. Console.log, it just logs them. So where does it send this? Is it the network integration of the player? I want to make sure that that all of this is like synced up and shit. This is having to do with specifically... Yeah, it's this. Okay. So if you're not the host... I should probably... So if you're not the host and you are the local player, that sends it specific. Item save contents of string. Do I want to do that just every time you pick up a new item? You know? That seems wasteful. Let's see. So if I go over to a give item function, like this thing. If main dot is multiplayer. So in other words, if you're the multiplayer and you are the local player, then do this. I mean, do I need to pass in specifically the client ID? I do, yes. Okay. Wait, why does it send this? Why does it send that? It doesn't need that. Oh, wait, that's who it's going to. Yeah. That's who it's... Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Does that work? This feels kind of wasteful, but I mean, it just kind of sends the entire item contents and then reloads them every time you pick up a new item. So, instead of just appending what you get, it's basically just refreshing the entire item inventory every time you pick up a new item, which, technically speaking, is pretty wasteful in terms of like processing power. You don't really want to be doing that if you're picking up if you're picking items up constantly. However, you're only going to be picking up like maybe one item every minute maybe or something, and you won't be doing it during combat either. So you know what? Let's just see. Build and run. Let's just see what it does. I'm interested to see if this even works. So we I don't actually know what's gonna happen right now. I genuinely don't. So logged in user, you can see that that's happened. Let me host copy over on here. I've hosted on the other one. You can see there's some stuff. It's correctly not getting any items. The real question is, so let's do it on the Unity editor. So if I run dot, I can also just have the console open here. So if I do give speed 1, oh, it has it. It knows that I have it. So if I pick up a sword like a katana, and I move over to like the viewport, and then I attack. Guys. It seems to be working. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. That is like a big thing I was kind of worried about, is just seeing if they would even work. So, based. So this obviously isn't going to work. I haven't really made the, yeah. This is very much broken. The, yeah. A lot of the multiplayer code is still a bit, off. I've just got to sit myself down and start, like, just locking in on that. It has to do with, like, processing of who gets hit by what. It's kind of annoying, but, I mean, you can see that the given key does not exist because it ran into a problem on this line because the bullet told itself to land on a thing that doesn't exist. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I don't care. Interesting that it's even receiving that message. It shouldn't, because it shouldn't have processed it on another player. VLAN should only even... Wait, how is this even getting run? This might be something I can quickly look into. This is a slight aside. No, don't pull that up here. Don't pull... Go there. Okay. Just as a quick aside, let me go to the projectiles, linear projectile thing. You can see that VLAN requires, in order for this to happen, in order for it to do this, PP main player, or main is multiplayer. It should only run VLAN. So it is running it. Alright, alright. So the case that I don't want to run it is if you are not the one who it hit. So if it hit an enemy, how do I go about that? This is kind of annoying. This is all non-local variables aside from I. So basically, the difference is that I just need to say generic case if you are an enemy. Actually, if enemy is equal to null, or hit enemy is this will just let me do this. There you go. So it has to be from an enemy, and either it hits a wall, or they're not a local player. Right? Then it doesn't run the thing? I just don't want to send them. I only want you to send the message if it hits a player, specifically a player, and if that player is you. That's the only time it should send a message. If it hits something else, it shouldn't run that. This can technically throw an error. I'll add an extra check. I mean, this shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be a player and have a... but whatever. Nah, seems fine. Yeah, everything checks out. I don't know. That may or may not fix the problem with the crash when it hit the other player, but who knows? Could also be the case that they're not correctly syncing which enemy. The enemy just isn't really syncing that much in general. Like, for example, who they're attacking is not being synced. That really should be, but is currently being calculated locally every time, which is not great. There's a lot of stuff with the enemies that I need to just kind of tweak and work on. That's very much the next like point of thing I want to work on, like aside from just this. How? It goes off screen from the amount of bullets that you're shooting. That's kind of fun. It does work though, like on the sword, right? If I spawn an enemy and I just like... Yeah, it does. So I spawn like 100. Oh yeah. Alright, Unity engine transform has been destroyed on something. Line of sight requirement. What's going on here? What's going on here? Yeah, hitbox. I got that you're doing this. Why did this... How did this throw an error? My PC... What are you talking about? My PC is shit, lol, he says. Sure. I'll 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 take that into consideration, I guess. Um what, how did this throw a what? Entity transform has been destroyed, but I'm still trying to access it. What are you talking about? Oh, I died. Ah, that's interesting. I don't actually know how to think about that. It's running a line of sight after I died, which is kind of funny. So it's trying to see if the enemy has a line of sight to a thing that doesn't exist, which is how that error got thrown. Do I care enough to fix that? Not particularly. It's a really niche case, I'll say. Player self, I can, okay, so I can say, so in other words, I'll just do, vector. Sure. That just runs a null check on that to make sure that it doesn't fucking do that. I don't know why this guy is saying my PC is shit. I have a pretty alright computer. I mean, it's not like the greatest PC of all time. I mean, I'm running like some stuff I really need to optimize with the enemies. Like, you can see they're jittering all over the place. That's not FPS lag, that's just them actually jittering. That has to do with the fact that they're all trying to fucking do some random shit. I thought it crashed because of my PC. No, it did not. It very much did not. I have a... Hold on. Task manager. Can I... That's startup apps. Actually, this is a good chance just to make sure everything's fine. Performance, right? So, like, CPU is like an AMD Ryzen, that one. I'm gonna be honest, I don't get CPU names. Like especially Intel. I think this is a good CPU. I do get the GPU is like the 4070 Super thing, so I mean I'm fine on the GPU side. I mean, like, 32 gigs of RAM before I built the PC, or I didn't build the PC. I got the PC before RAM prices, you know. So like the fucking RAM price chart. Give me the RAM price trend so far. How are we doing on just like 64 gigabytes of RAM real quick? Like, yeah. Part of the FPS problem is the fact that I'm spawning about 100 game objects, all of which are constantly trying to, at every single possible opportunity, check if they have line of sight to the player, and also trying to navigate to the player, which I really can easily optimize. I have a laptop, yeah. The enemy code I very much plan on making better. It's just, I don't care just yet. You can see just every fixed update. Let's see if I even... First of all, if the player doesn't exist, it finds a new one. But that's not the problem. It does this. It does a line of sight check every time if you're in the range, which is not great. And then secondarily, somewhere in here is set destination. Am I going insane? Where is this? Or is it in the did I give it an inheritance thing? I'm trying to figure out no, that's just the modified profile. Am I going insane? Where is the actual agent? Yeah, agent. .dest. Oh, okay, here. You can see just like this runs also in fixed update. So both of these are just running 50 times a second for every enemy. Even though it's very much not necessary to do it that often. The only reason I'm doing that right now is just to make sure that shit's working. I'm also fairly certain a lot of the jittering happens due to a disconnect between the rigid body component and nav mesh component of the enemy, because I don't think they're really meant to work together. I gotta look into exactly fixing that, but that's something that I want to do off stream because that's more of a research type thing than an actual like making and figuring out and experimenting type thing. I just don't think it's that cool to watch me mess around with the rigid body component and the nav mesh and try and wrangle them together into working and not fucking jittering around like you saw before. So if you spawn like one enemy, like I'm like fairly certain if I spawn 100 enemies, so the reason that I think these are breaking is because if you go to the rigid body, can I not see it in here? Can I not see the hidden stuff like the velocity? Fucking sure, whatever. So I guess maybe in Unity 3D you can't see the velocity, but I'm pretty sure the reason why they jitter this much is because they are being given some stuff that it doesn't like. Yeah. So you can see that despite them trying to navigate to where I am, they're being constantly moved to the side. I'm pretty certain that's the rigid body and the nav mesh fighting over where the enemy should be. Um, you know what? Can I just remove the rigid body? Can I just do that? I mean, I'd want it to have a rigid body component, but what if I just, like, do that? You know? What if I just say, fuck you in your actual calculations? Wait, fix the rotation too. Just calculate nothing. Do no velocity. Does that fix the jittering? Yep. Yep. Pretty much exactly what I said, yeah. The jittering is entirely caused by the fighting between the rigid body and the nav mesh, just they cannot agree where the enemy should be. So I have to do something about that. I might be able to, hold on, I might be able to do something here. Can I get like, where, do I have a reference to the rigid body? I don't. I'll just make it a thing. So let me just grab the rigid body, and I'll say if rigid dot linear because like I think linear velocity dot square magnitude is greater than 0.1f, then I'm going to do agent dot. I think this has its own velocity. Yeah, it has its own velocity. Plus equals rigid dot linear velocity, and then rigid dot linear velocity equals vector 3.0. Don't mute myself. That's a good idea. So in other words, if I unrestrain the position stuff, I think it should be fine. Allegedly. I'm actually not sure what this is gonna do. Okay, well it crashed. I should probably give it the component first. That'd be a good idea. Let me just do rigid dot or equals get component. There you go. Now it shouldn't crash. Let's go. Let's see what it does this time. Without me being dumb. Da, 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 da. Yep. Yep. It's all working good now. Now, another thing I want to do is the line of sight check. Currently, it's running. If you're in the range of the enemy, you can see that it has to do like some physics checks just to see if it can even hit the player. And it's doing them every fixed update, which it really does not need to do. So if I want to optimize that also, I probably can. But again, this is running an extreme case of 100 enemies. There's no way there's going to be 100 enemies on like you're fucking in the thing at the same time. So this is already probably a bit overkill in terms of what I need. So I don't necessarily need to fix it, but I just can if I want to. So what I can check is with the in range. Instead of saying equals sight check necessarily, can I just grab an interlace on that? I could just I wouldn't be against it. Although, do I want to sync them? Uh, so the line of sight check starts involving multiplayer stuff because that has to do with aggro and if you can start attacking and stuff. I It's not that complex, but I just don't like dealing with multiplayer netcode on stream. It's just kind of an annoying process. Mostly, I just don't want to have to start dealing with syncing the enemy targeting. You know what? Should I just make it interlace and then we can do targeting stuff later? I am like fairly certain that this is what's causing most of the FPS slowdown when the enemies are in range. You know what? We can actually open a profiler and find out. Let me open the profiler. Where is it? Where analysis? I think it's in here. Profile. Yeah, there we go. I'm opening this in another window real quick, so you can see that's kind of like where a lot of the things are coming from. You can see the if we want to take a look, you can see it's a lot of the rendering is what's causing all the blue is rendering. Oh, it paused because yeah. So if I spawn 100 enemies, you can immediately notice that there's some spikes here. Spikes, namely from a few things here, a lot of rendering. This is the fixed behavior, and you can see immediately that it's the enemy fixed update that's causing a lot of the slowdown here. Yeah, it's the fucking it's the raycast. I can assure you that it's this. Now, also there's some GC allocations which are like being applied throughout the runtime. That I'm not fully certain of based on just looking at this code here, considering I I don't know what it's even allocating. I don't think the keyword new even appears in this fixed update. My only guess is that it actually, oh, wait. I think it's all of this. Yeah, all of this is, this kind of code, I believe. I believe this is why it's having these, like why there's even like a bit of a slowdown with the 100 enemies. There's also, of course, the physics simulation itself, which takes up a little bit of the runtime. Granted, navmesh and physics, they kind of collide a little bit. But other than that, it's kind of funny just how little of the game's runtime is actually taken up by literally fucking everything else in my entire game. Like the player controller 3D takes up 0.01 milliseconds, or the player's thing is 0.01 milliseconds, right? It's like these tiny slivers of this entire frame buffer. And then the enemy fixed behavior, all of it is all the enemy. I'm pretty sure this is almost entirely the enemy. This might be like the player controller. Yeah, 0.01 milliseconds, like all the way down there. But all of those are enemies because, yeah. Raycasts take a long time. They're not necessarily a cheap operation. They're not that expensive, but when you're doing like 100 or a few hundred of them, it starts adding up, you know? So my theory is, can I just like store this value? Instead of a site check, right, running every time. So if I just run like, what would be a fun one? Int interlace equals 0. Interlace equals random dot range from 0 to 10. Stored site, right? Stored site equals 0. So I'm just gonna do this, and then in the site check, stored site equals cool. And then all I'm gonna do is say just if interlace is not equal to, actually I'm gonna say interlace equals interlace plus 1 dot mod with 10, I think is a good one. Let's just, and then if interlace is not equal to 5, some random arbitrary value, then I'm going to return stored site. Yep, that's it. So now instead of checking every 0.2 seconds, it checks every 0.2 seconds on average. per line of sight on the player. Now, in practice, does this have any, like, meaningful impact? Maybe. So, do I have the profiler open still? I'm gonna die. Yeah, do I have the profiler open? I don't think so. I closed it. So let's go back over and grab the profiler and try running that again. Let's try running the analysis. That's from the last time it ran. So, we currently are running this. Let's just wait for everything to subside and settle down. We're all good. We're good. Spawn 100 enemies. You can see that it's doing some stuff, but you can see the frame time is now kind of a lot more, like, it's not nearly as impacted by spawning about 100 fucking enemies. And that's because if we take a look at the, can I grab one that actually has a fixed update run? You can see that it's running a lot less logic per fixed update on most of the enemies. It's only running like an actual raycast on like a few of them. So this heavily optimizes the actual fixed update stuff. Now there's some GC allocation which happens. That probably has to do there's probably some other stuff in here, like in the fixed update that I'm just like not thinking about. Probably that, if I had to guess. It's probably running this, and this kind of logic is throwing its own little bit of a GC allocation time hiccup. But frankly, like, optimizing it beyond this is kind of just pointless. Like, even with 100 enemies, I'm still getting, like, 100 enemies actively beating the shit out of me. I'm still getting 300 FPS in the editor. Like, I don't need to optimize this more, because there's no way I'm going to be spawning that quantity of enemies on the player, while also having the overhead of the fact that, like, half your frame budget is being spent by the editor. So, in case you don't know, the editor actually takes a toll on the FPS, and it's, like, you might not think it's that much, but like, even, like, with 100 enemies, let me just, like, pause this real quick. So, this is the, let's go back to this. So you can see the, this is, like, the main gameplay right here. This is the main, like, the player loop, you know, it has all the logic, the fixed update. Hold on, let me find one that actually has a good fixed update run on it. There you go. So you can see that it's a bit longer for the fixed update runs because it takes about 1 millisecond for all of the enemies that it has to process. Actually, I think it spawned some on that one, which is even funnier. Right? But, like, even though the player loop was only 1.28 milliseconds, the editor loop immediately after was over double that. Then there's the actual rendering, which is about 1.17 milliseconds. So this is like the camera, the shader effects, whatever. So that's another like at 1 millisecond or so. And then more editor overhead stuff, like with the editor, and this one I don't actually remember. This is this is for the profiler itself. So the profiler is also taking a very slight overhead. This is also pretty funny. This is causing from what? Time update, wait for last presentation and update. Yeah, that's some weird shit. That's because I'm messing with the profiler right now and it's starting to not like me. But you get the point. You can basically, not exactly double FPS, but on low, like, logic loads, the actual FPS that you could expect would be around double. What I'm seeing in the editor here. You know what? If I build and run, we might be able to see that. So I don't know. We'll see how this looks when I actually build and run this. It's loading. This is crazy. Oh, nope, still loading. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think it's gonna. Yeah, so like when I actually build and run, you can see I'm running at about 500 FPS on average. So I pick up like a gun, like you can see that I'm spawn 100 enemies, you can see I'm staying at about 500 FPS, you know? Like, it's dipping like a little bit. Like, it's becoming a bit more erratic, I would say, maybe dropping to like 450 on average, but like, I'm gonna be honest, chat. I do not need to optimize the enemy code any further than it currently has been in just that like 2 seconds it took. 450 FPS with 100 enemies spawned all doing shit. Yeah, we're fine. Do I want to start work on shield for the player? Maybe. So I've got some stuff. You know, I've got the guns, I've got the bullets. Do we want to try fixing this? There's so many things, there's so many possibilities. We've opened so many doors because we now have the items that we can give, like speed 10, so we can do that. I love this. This is so fun. Dude, just shooting like 1,000 fucking bullets is really cool. Speed. Hold on, wait. What does this do? Hold on. Can I use this to scale the door faster? Hold on, let me, okay, this isn't... Using it on ground, there you go. This is insane. Okay, hold on. I need to actually, like, lock in for this. I also have the profiler open, so I can blame that for my, lack of being good. Yeah, now you have the brand gun, you know? Dude, there's so many great little like things you can find. Like, dude, speed 10, dividing your attack speed by 10 and then using the explosive gun. Who could have known that it would have some interesting effects on the gameplay? Hold on. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit. Dude, I'm having so much fun just like messing around with this. Just like flying around using like 10,000 explosives. Hold on, let me get this going again. Oh, I hit a wall. Dude. I should just make this its own thing. I've been debating this, if I want to make my, like, a new, like, separate game mode of this game just about going, like, extremely fast. Because, like, this is so fucking fun. Just, like, just zooming around using, like, an extreme amount of movement. Because you can very easily keep up momentum through, like, wall running and, like, dashing and explosives and stuff, so... I did not hit. I did not hit. Can I, there we go. Dude, I'm... This is stupid. Give me on the wall, give me on the wall, give me on the wall, give me on the wall. Give me on the wall. I jumped over the wall a little bit, we're fine. Dude, it's the brand gun. It's the secret weapon. It's the one they never tell you about. You could go so fast with that. I love this. I probably want to add some kind of self-damage or something. Just on the explosives, and then maybe you can add like something that lets you rocket jump specifically. Maybe? Or do I want to keep it as they just don't damage you? I don't know. I'm having way too much fun with this. I should probably like, dude, this is my thing. Like, whenever I'm like making a game, I feel like I'll just hop in it. Like when I'm supposed to be doing development, I'll just hop in it and then I'll just start like messing around in it or playing it instead of like, like doing development. Like what just happened there? I was just like doing some random shit. Yeah, looks like dropped frames is still good. We're good. Just wanted to make sure I'm not like fucking dying again from like Wi-Fi bad. So that happened last time. I think I fixed it, so Whew. So now new question, do we want to work on the player shield and enemy shield and stuff like that? Yeah, I don't see why not. Player shield can be starting work first. So the just to go over the goals.txt real quick. Let me go find that. That should be in here, files, goals. This might be the first time you've seen me just straight up remove. No, I just opened up DaVinci Resolve. Oops. So I don't have can be picked up in game yet. That is what I want to do next. I think either that or the player shield. I'm kind of debating which ones of these to do. So, also, I hope this works. 4 to 3 models. Wait, 4 out of 6. Yeah, it's a bit broken, but it should realize its mistake in the next loop around when it updates. Let's see. I'm waiting for that to loop. You know, you can see it detaching here. 4, 6. It should realize 1, 2, 3, 4, Yeah, that checks out. Yeah. If I edit this file while this program is running, it just requires it to wait for the next loop for it to realize, like, oh shit, something fucked got changed. Anyway. Dude, I can make some quick changes real quick. Quick changes. First of all, heal should not be able to heal shield. So I can go over to NDOXS and go heal. You can see currently I have it set so that overheal goes to shield. I don't think that should be default behavior, at least with like current stuff. So it should just be, yeah, okay. Mount healed is this. I'm just going to comment that out, you know? Checks out. Amount dot. Oh wait, this is using the same kind of this. I should probably just run this, shouldn't I? Instead of heal equals amount dot calc amount. Well, yeah, but. And then I just do amount and amount and amount and amount and heal equals amount dot stored damage. There you go. Hold on. Let me just write that down. Aux tools. Just to write this. Entity OXS events and shit. On hit and kill and stuff events for damage profiles. And then also, just something I want to change, I want to make the heal use same calc amount event shit. Cool. Just leaving some notes to myself so that I can remember that I actually want to do some stuff. Just some like tweaks for the actual thing. I'll check in my changes, why not? I mean, I'm just in the middle of doing stuff, but whatever. This should, when this reloads, mean that the nothing changed, ideally. Because my max shield was already 0 before. The problem, I just want to make sure that if I heal now, it doesn't go into overheal in the shield. Well, it crashed. That's not good. Object must have a value. What? What? Hold on. What? So, hold on. So that ran heal the thing. Yeah. And that ran hit in, yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, hold on. Sorry, that's running the wrong event. Oops. Sorry, that was on the on hit event, not the on heal event. My bad, chat. And then. Do I even need that? Doesn't it just reduce down to this? Interesting. Yeah, I think it does. That's cool. Granted, I think the calc amount application should also apply it to the health. So I'll do a bit of changes there. I do want to do some reworking eventually of that, but it's fine for now. Yeah, you can see it heals me, but I'm already at full health, so if I take some damage, yeah, it's still working. So, next up is shield, my friends. Shield. Me when I'm gaining my shield. So currently we have these shield values, but they're not in use anywhere. Or I mean, they are used in a damage calculation where it takes from the shield first. However, it's just kind of there. I love this music, by the way. I love like the I just have a playlist called Cyber Mood, just like various like techno-y, dubstep-y, not dubstep-y, like cyberpunk style songs for developing this game and then also streaming, I guess. I don't know, it just kind of works. Kind of is there. I want to add some kind of visualization on the health bar for shields. So let's go back over to the scene. Let's go to the canvas. And can I... an isolation. Yeah, so this is like the UI, the HUD, the user interface, if you will, and this is the health bar. So I want to add something on here to indicate when you have other health. So this is your old like what is it called? One hit protection. Then you have your health, your heal, your damage bars, whatever. The next thing, and then this should have a soft mask. I mean, it's called soft, but it's kind of I don't know. We're gonna make a new one. We're gonna make a new one of these, which goes on top of all of them. And this will be like a blue color, maybe a bit more transparent or something. I don't know if I want to give this like a texture. Like if I want it to be like a specific color, but you can see like what my vision is, right? Where it goes like that. So you can have like a shield on top. Oh, these are using scale. Let me just undo that real quick so it's scaled back up, and then I could use the scale feature to move it down like that. Yeah, okay. I want it to be consistent. So this is a health bar script somewhere in here. HUD. Genuinely, I forget where it is. It might just be in here. I may have hard-coded it into here because, like, yeah. Health bar, yeah, it's all there. The UI code starts getting pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care as much about making UI code look good at all. I care if it works. That's all I care about. So health bar shield. We're gonna make a new thing for this. It's basically just gonna work the exact same as the other things, somewhat. So let's go over to this there. Yep. Okay. Let me just find every instance of the use of like health bar. What's the main white component of this? Because this is the one that tracks your actual amount of health. Image 4. So image 4, granted it does have some other following code, so it's not perfect, but the image 4 we're looking for in here, image 4 is bar image. Yeah, you. Or I guess health bar. I'm just gonna control F full word this. Wait, is this full word or is it this full word? Match full word, there you go. So this is doing some stuff with the local scale just to make sure that they're offset, which is fine. Why is it going to that scale? Yeah. And the health bar heal dot transform to local scale is equal to that. Okay. So I can do health bar shield is equal to this of entity dot shield is over max shield. Let me just quickly say, yeah, okay, let me just quickly say if max shield is greater than 0. Otherwise, set local scale equal to vector 3.0. You know? Or, actually, I guess it'd be a new vector 3 of 0, 1, 1. There you go. Anyway. So then all I have to do... Wait, do I have to do anything? I kind of just is. Well, it's not interpolating. It's not going to interpolate at all. Which is fine. Yeah, okay, let's check this out. So let's go to the player. when this spawns in. So you can see we have some stuff. So if I go to out of here, I go to my nerd, and I just go find his entity component, and I increase her max shield to like 100. Dude, we got that filling up now. So that's good. That's good. Granted, it doesn't interpolate at all. I don't know if I want to do that. Frankly, I might. I don't know. But yeah, so that's working. That's cool. The health, the shield should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. So let's test that. So if I set the maximum shield equal to 100 and I set my shield equal to 100 and then I do, right? You can see that like I can't heal the shield, but I can like when I take damage, it does subtract from the shield first, you know? So I might do a slight interpolation on that, just on the amount, so that it's less jagged. I don't know. Let's see. So it should be fairly simple, where I can grab float shield ideal equals shield and turret. This is just some UI annoying stuff. Shield and turret should start at 0, and then shield and turret equals mathf.lerp from shield and turret to shield ideal of a is like 0.2 times f dot time stable lerp, yada yada yada. Now it'll kind of be smooth. Just some very, very simple stuff there. I might speed up the interpolation speed. 0.2 is a bit sluggish. We'll see how that feels. Not that. 100, 100. So you can see that it just kind of like doesn't jump immediately. So if I press K, sorry, if I press L, you can see that it like takes a second to move back. Let's go to like 0.4 instead of 0.2. So it'll be pretty snappy, but it'll have like a bit of frames in between. The only reason I'm doing this is just so that it feels like a bit nicer than not doing that. I don't know. Just think it'd be cool. So if I go to the player, we can do the same shit. 100, 100, and then yeah. I think that's good. Save. So now we have a shield bar on the player. Granted, there's no way to currently get shield, but that doesn't matter. NDOXS. So the next thing that I do want to test is shield on enemies. Currently, the enemy has some code for shield. Some in that I kind of made it before. Let's see what this does. So if I grab my enemy, and instead of saying let's give them the same 100 100 treatment, but let's try spawning an enemy and I'm actually not sure what this is gonna do. I'm really not sure what this is gonna do. So let's grab a gun or two, and then let's spawn an enemy. So okay, so the shield bar appears. It's just not interpolating between the value. So I just need to go to the enemy health bar thing. Maybe. EBH dot yeah, so you can see that I have like these things which is set up. Alpha value, kill self, EBH timer, current, maybe. Position, rotation, scale, demult is a distance function. This is the base. Main bar size delta equals this. Here we go, it's this. Current perk, underscore shield. I'm basically just going to take every example of current perk and duplicate that. And then current perk shield goes to current perk and is get ideal perk, shield. Like literally just, sorry, shield, max shield, fake death, or less than or equal to 0. There you go. Yada yada. Ideal perk 2. Yeah. Let me do var sz2 equals sz, and then sc2 dot current perk shield and dot php shield bar. Yeah, a lot of duplicated code. I hate UI stuff, but I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't work. I just kind of needed to fill in some blanks there with the enemy, because it kind of had some stuff before. Yeah, literally that. Okay. Like, I don't know what to say. It's just good. It's just good. Next up, I want to see what happens if I try removing health. This should be something. I need to do this. Just same kind of dealio over you. Max health. There you go. Just so that if you don't have any max health, because I do want there to be the case. This is not going to be the case for players. Players are always going to have max health. But I do think that it would be cool if some enemies exclusively had shield instead of health, you know? So this should let me be able to do that and test to see if that... Okay. I know what's happening there. Linear projectile is denying enemies that have less than, or it's one of these things. It's that the projectile code is denying it a hit against an enemy because its health is technically 0. So because of this, if its health is less than 0, but I basically just need to instead say dot can or dot has health remaining. Oh wait, has health remaining, and this is going to do health is greater than 0 or shield. Sorry, shield is greater than 0. Okay, so now I can go back to the enemy projectile, so I can check if the entity has health remaining, not. So in other words, if they're dead. So that should mean the projectile can now actually impact them. That was some older vestigial code from before, but that's because I hadn't had the idea at the time. Granted, hit now needs to work with health. Why did hit not kill them when they had 0 shield and 0 health? That's an interesting question. That would be an entity OXS type problem. So you can see that here happens. If health is less than or equal to 0, it runs this. What? I don't get it. I mean, I don't get why it didn't kill the enemy. If shield is less than or equal to 0, is that it? That's a really funny equal sign if that's the problem. I think it may have landed exactly on the death. That might be what happened. Let's see. Yeah, fuck you. That was it. Oh, that's funny. Let me fix that real quick on the where here. I just want to quickly also write over here. Hit to kill. Use not for on shield check. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of funny. I just happened to be exactly on the right threshold that it just didn't work. But so now enemies can be either entirely shield or entirely not shield. They can be entirely health. I don't actually have a name for the health. I mean, internally I refer to it as health. But so now they can either have shield or health, and they can have a mix and match of both if I want. So that's good. You know what that means, right? I can go to my goals.txt and I can delete both of these. That'll update on the next revolution of the thing. Yep, it should. Yep, it did. Boom. I have I have so many things open. I need to close some of this. Task manager I don't need to have open. Yeah. Okay, we're fine. I did not put this on shuffle ever. That would explain why I was playing a bunch of Exoterra stuff in a row. Let's just scroll back up to like this. Want to pick up the items in game? Perchance. So currently items are 2D icons. They're just using an empty image. Yeah, that's good. I'm just testing some stuff here. Let me bring this back to default values. Boom. Dude, I'm pretty happy with that. So now the player and the enemy both have the capability to have shield, which is peak. Yeah, I mean, I don't... Oh, I fucking love this. I love doing this. I'm never gonna get bored of that, you know? That's why I paused the music for like a split second there. I might change... I want to... debating changing this explosion sound. You know, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I just couldn't really get anything better. Hold on, let me try one thing I could try is reducing the pitch on it. So maybe that could do it. Just like a little bit. Not much, just like a bit. That would be on linear projectile impact sound here. So I just have it at 0.7. Let's try it at 0.5. I'm just adjusting some sound effects just to see if that improves the effect a little bit. Explosions are going to be something that you hear probably a good bit if you're using explosive weapons, so I want that to sound good, you know? Sounds fine. I mean... might add like some extra effects. I want to like maybe have more of like an impact or a boom or something. I don't know like if I have any like good do I have anything for that, like bumps and hits? Like do I have any like scuffles that would be good? Not that. Nope. How about this one? Nope. How about this one? Nope. How about this one? You know? Maybe. How about this one? That's not even gonna be it. How about... yeah, I can tell, but like just like I have a bunch of these. I like just like hits of various like sounds, but they're not what I'm looking for. I don't think any of these are gonna be like particularly great. That's a good sound, but it's not gonna be good for this. Like that's another good sound, also probably not good for this. Like I've got a bunch of these. Okay, hold on, that one might be good. 6764. Alright, 6764 is probably a sound bank. On bumps and hits. I just need to find it. One of these should be 6764. Yeah, thwump. Yeah. Okay. So let me just like add that then. You know? Just add a thwump. How does that sound? What happens if I just add an extra sound effect? You know? Do-do-do. That's a third sound that it's just kind of applying on there, so. I genuinely can't even hear it. Is it playing? I just need to see if it's actually fucking playing. I think it is. I think it was just really quiet. I mean, that's fine if it's a subtle effect. I don't need it to be something amazing or anything. I just want it to be like there. Am I going insane? Is this not... Huh? Hold on. This will be the only sound it can play now. How do you feel about that, huh? How do you like them apples? Let's see what this does. So it's not going to be drowned out by the other ones. It could just be really quiet. That's also very possible, is that it's just a very quiet sound effect that I need to boost instead. Yeah, it was just quiet. Okay. So it is playing, it's just quiet. I might do that in the scene audio. Just quickly open that up. Or Control A, just save that. So that should boost the audio quite a bit. Not quite a bit, but like a good bit. More impactful, I hope. Oh yeah. Feels like you're spitting into the microphone whenever you do that. Yeah, that's good. Dude, alright. Improved sound effects are crazy. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Oh man. So now do we want to make items that you can actually pick up? I think that would be an interesting one. So basically, I don't know how to best put this. Currently, I don't have any 3 models for any of the guns or any of the items. I do have this though, which should let you pick up an item. Maybe. So let's just move this like over here or something. And this needs to instead spawn a speed. Actually, since it's more apparent, hit. And this will be an item type one. So all of the item type things currently have no functionality in here. The get model has no model. It has no thing that it spawns. The get offset has no offset. It doesn't have one. The pickup has no functionality, and the whatever. So technically what I should be able to do is say the give item, and I give you a new jizz item of type item ID. And I don't think I need to give you any other parameters. So that'll be functional in that sense. Is there any other thing aside from offset and model? I don't think so. So I just need to give it a model that it is able to look up somehow. And I'll do that through the jizz item itself. So the jizz item has in the reference of a thing up here, you can see when I reference, is it not in here or is it below? It's below. So you can see we have a sprite thing. So you can assign how it'll look in general. Is this used in places aside from being thing? What I'm thinking of doing basically is just creating a new thing called model, you know? And this will be a game object reference. When I create a new thing, I'll do model equals data.model. Same kind of deal. This should not need to be set. This is just kind of the part of it. Yeah. So model is now a new field for every item, and I can give them whatever I want them to look like. So in this case, I'll just give them the debug sphere. You remember that? I made it like last episode. Not episode. It's like a series. No, I mean like last stream. So I go to the thing. So you can see none of these have a model. But if I go to hit and those, I'm going to go to where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where did I put this? It would be in like MISC probably. Yeah. So you remember the debug sphere, right? It's just kind of a glowing sphere. It kind of looks like that. You know? It looks like that. I'm just gonna delete that. I don't want it actually in the world right now. But if I go to this, you can basically see I've assigned it to these. I might give it the debug sphere to that as well, just so that I actually have something to look at. Dev is references that dev thing. That's funny. This, since it's an item that spawns hit and uses the item model transform, yeah, it should work, I think. Let's see. So it should spawn the debug sphere, which should go up and down. Okay, or it could crash. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't tell it to ever get the model. Oops. So get model on the item, instead of returning null, needs to run jislol.instance.item dictionary of item ID dot model. Right? So now I can get the model I just created, and it should assign it to the thing, and then it should spawn that in as needed. Hopefully. We'll see. There it is. You can see it's hovering. I now have the item. And it should print some stuff. Yeah! Dude, that's good! Okay. That's really cool. So you can now pick up the items. Dude, this is so cool. Right? So now this just kind of works. So let me try this, right? So if I take one of these and I duplicate it, let's move it like over here or something. Actually, let's put it in like a new place. Just because I want it to be very separate from the others. For funsies. Right, so this one will be speed. Right, you remember our friend Speed. Not I show speed, I'm talking about speed, right? Let's just spawn like 5 of them. So now, what I can do is I can grab this, which shoots normal speed. Dude, this is so cool. Okay, hold on. One thing I do want to modify about the test item, speed, is I just want to go to player, speed. Yeah, just, this should be increased by 1, so the first item does something. Anyway. Regardless, this is really fucking funny that this works. I am having the time of my life right now. If you could not tell. This is amazing. So I can grab this, and you're like, man, that's slow. I need to go faster. I need to go faster. I need to go even faster. Dude, I'm... And then... Dude, it's just working. This is what we call coding right here. When it just works, you know? When you're able to spawn 10 enemies, and then you're able to just, like... And then you could see that they all did it. Oh my god. Now, granted, I need to make actual like 3D models for these so you can like tell what the items are, but these aren't actual real items that would be in the game. I'm not going to have something that every time you pick it up, it divides your attack speed by the stack count. But you know, your or your attack time by the stack count. I mean, but like you see what I'm going for, right? Like, you can pick up the item in the world, and it should, because it's running through the same give item method that the console command was, it should sync over multiplayer just inherently. because I already did that before. So that means I can go all the way over to goals.txt and delete this too. You know? Dude, we are doing some really, really cool gaming right here. Genuinely, I don't know if I want to call it for today, just because like I'm having a pretty good time. We've done a lot. I'm also like 2 hours into the stream at this point, and I kind of still am a bit fucked from my mouth having stitches in it, but you know, I can survive a little bit. Being able to just like actually get these items that have like an effect like this is very, very elating for me, is the way that I'll put it. This is exciting. This is getting a lot closer to my ideal vision of what the game is going to start looking like, and it is approaching it fast. It is getting there very, very fast, and I am loving this. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I really want to do today. I mean, I obviously have these things that I can start working on, like if I want to start making like a bouncing projectile. That seems like a lot of effort to throw in right at the end, though. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of good with what we got today. You know, we got the items been made. Those are working. Those are synced over multiplayer. That's all good. We've got the item model that you can now pick them up from. So that's good. That's working. I'll create some 3D models for these later. And we've got some other stuff too. We got the shield working for both the player and the enemy. And I also optimized some of the enemy code a little bit, just for the funsies, you know? Like, that's a pretty successful stream right there, I would say, in terms of, like, what I've got done. I might hop back on, like, later in the day and do more, but I don't know if in this session I want to do more. Session? Yes, I can talk. Anyway, actually, this is something that I've been wondering. Does this rotate differently? I kind of feel like it does. Maybe it's just an illusion. I don't know. I'm kind of good with this, you know? Like this is a really successful little sprint here. Did some good stuff, did some good work. That's kind of the point of these streams, is just to do like some nice concise little work for the thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm done. I guess I'll just be seeing you guys later. Be in the past, present, or maybe future.